The topic that we're going to discuss is about preparing hand tools. These are our objectives in this lesson. First is to identify and plan the tasks to be undertaken properly. Identify and select appropriate hand tools according to the task requirements. Check appropriate hand tools for proper operation and safety. Now, first of all, we have to discuss about plan and prepare for the task to be undertaken. Okay, plan and prepare. When we say planning, it is a process of preparing for change and development and for deciding how to best manage or influence those changes. It is also directed at resolving specific problem, issues, or conflict. So usually, we are going to tackle, or what are we going to focus is the second definitions, wherein there are some certain problems or some issues that we're going to solve, especially in as a computer technician. Okay, so we have to, or we are going to select different kinds of tools in order for us to carry out those solving the problem. Okay, para ma-solve natin yung mga problema na yun. So we have to select the right or the proper tools for that job. Okay, here is a guide to plan preparation. First of all, you need to assess, or what we call the assessment. Everyone should need to assess, first of all their hand tools. Ito ba ay may mga damage? Ito ba ay usable pa? So ito ba ay nangangailangan ng what we call a maintenance? Okay, sapagkat alam natin, if we are going to use a defective hand tool, so meron tinatawag tayong high risk. May risk tayo na sinasabi natin, pwede nating madamage yung ating ginagawa or mismo tayo mismo na sa sarili natin, pwede rin po tayong masaktan. So we need to assess, so every hand tools for its damage or its failure. The next one is what we call prevention. Once na na-assess mo na itong tools na ito ay may damage, so itong tools na ito is not already unusable, okay? Defective, so nalagyan mo na siya ng level na defective ito. So hindi mo na siya dapat siyang gamitin. So itatabi mo na siya, or it's either na for maintenance or for repair. So there must be a prevention, so in our planning. The next one is what we call an education. So everyone in your job, okay, must be well educated enough, especially in case of emergency, what they are going to do. Kaya nga there are some rules in our work that we need to work in group or in partner. So do not work alone. Bakit? In case mo na magka-emergency, walang tutulong sa iyo. So you have to work with someone else, okay, as a team, especially in some jobs, okay, to carry out or to solve the problem. Okay, so mahirap po gumawa ng mag-isa. So everyone must be well educated enough in their roles, what they're going to do, especially if there is an emergency. Okay, the next one is what we call testing or exercising. So after we prepare our plan, we need to think or we need to test, okay, if it is what we call executable, or if it will work well. Halimbawa, tayo ay ni-request na to have a proposal in a network. Okay, so ito yung network, gagawa tayo ng network topology, gagawa tayo ng proposal, ano bang magandang gawin dyan, anong klaseng topology ba, anong klaseng security ba, anong settings ba ang gagawin natin in that network. So hindi pwede na may plano tayo, pupunta susugod na lang tayo dun sa lugar na okay, ito yung plano namin. So, in your end, before you go to that area, so doon sa nagre-request sa inyo ng proposal, kailangan iti-test nyo muna. Okay, na ito bang topology nito ay mag-work ba talaga? Okay, ito ba mga settings na ito, mga security settings or whatever settings na ating gagawin ay talagang effective ba doon sa kanila, sa existing topology na meron sila? Okay, dito sa topology, network topology na ginawa natin. Okay, so any plan, okay, na gagawin po natin before we propose it or before we implement it in the area, so we need to test it first. Okay, testing muna natin. Halimbawa, pinakasimple na lang yung USB flash drive na installer natin. Gumagawa tayo ng installer, gawa lang tayo ng gawa. Kasi alam natin, kinabukasan, meron tayong i-reprogram na computer. So, meron tayong i-installer na computer. So, kaso nga lang, after na ginawa mo, hindi mo siya tinest. So, hindi ka sigurado na magwo-work ba yung flash drive na yun as an installer o hindi. O, di ba? So, once na tinest mo, so doon mo lang malalaman na, how about kung nag-fail siya? How about kung corrupted yung flash drive? So, sayang, ang punta mo doon sa lugar na yun kung hindi mo siya na-test at the first part pa. Okay, yun, testing and exercising. Then, after testing, you need to review, especially kung may mga failure, especially kung may mga may lapses nangyari sa plan. So, you have to review, okay, your plan, saan ba kayo nagkamali, saan ba dapat ang i-improve doon sa plano na ginawa po ninyo. Then, the next one is what we call the responses. Okay, the student should respond to incidents as part of their core activities. So, ano bang magiging responses ninyo? Halimbawa, nangyari yung ganitong bagay, halimbawa, nangyari yung ganong bagay. Okay, kasi hindi lahat ng problema ay what we call ibinibigay ni customer sa atin, ng client. Hindi lahat ng problem ay sinasabi ni client. So, you have to think, ano bang mga possible problem na pwedeng mag-occur at ano yung mga responses na pwede nyong gawin. Okay, during that job. Okay, so habang ginagawa nyo yung isang bagay, yung project na yun. Yeah? So, hindi lahat ng visible, hindi lahat yung sinabi ni client, yun lang talaga ang pwedeng mangyari. Okay, so there are other things na makikita natin na pwedeng mag-occur at you need to be ready. What will be your response? Okay, in that problem. Yan. So, yun. So, those are the guides, okay? May iba't ibang guides natin as we prepare, okay? As we make our plan. Now, so susunod naman, the next thing is about what is the proper selection? How to select tools? Okay, proper tools selection na tayo ngayon. So, this will be our guide. So, paano ba natin pipiliin yung mga tools na ating gagamitin? Mas lamang kung anong mayroon tayo, yun na yun. Ano yung madampot natin, yun na yun? No. So, we need to have specific guidelines, some guidelines in selecting proper tools. Okay, when we say tools, it is a handheld device that aids in accomplishing a task. So, ito yung mga binibitbit natin na ginagamit natin para ma-accomplish natin ang isang task. So, it can be from a traditional, what we call yung mga metal cutting, like mga pliers, to an element of a computer program that activates and controls a particular function. So, tools pa rin yun. So, not only those mga physical tools, pero kinakailangan, yung tools na yan, hindi lamang tumutukoy doon sa mga physical tools, but also some other programs na ginagamit natin, okay, in certain parts ng ating jobs. Okay, so yun, so not only the physical tools. So may mga program tools din tayo na ginagamit natin. Now, so first is know your job. Okay, alamin mo muna kung ano ba talaga ang gagawin mo. So ano yung ibinibigay ni client na trabaho mo. Okay, sapagkat ayon doon sa trabaho na ibibigay sa iyo, so doon ka lang pipili ngayon ng mga proper tools na dapat mong gamitin sapagkat there are tools that are designed for some specific purposes. Okay? So hindi mo pwedeng ipamukpok ang pliers kasi kinakailangan martilyo ang pampukpok. So hindi mo pwedeng gamitin ang kutsilyo para pangtanggal ang screw kasi meron tayong mga screwdriver. So there are specific tools, okay, for those specific purposes. Bakit? So, kung gumamit kasi tayo ng maling tools, okay, for that certain jobs, it can damage, okay, yung ating ginagawa, okay, or it can damage the tool itself. At minsan pahirap rin sa atin yun. So it can cause you discomfort or injury once we use improper tools for a certain job. And it will also reduce your chances of being injured once we use a certain, what we call a right tools for a certain job. So, halimbawa, ito yung mga example ng mga driving tools like when we drive screwdriver, so when we drive screwdriver or whatever, so screwdriver, mga screw, okay, hand wrenches, okay, nut drivers, the handle. So dito naman yung sa kabila naman na pictures, ito yung mga pang-stock or hammer tools, yung mga pinupukpok natin. Yun. So may kanya-kanya yan. So hindi natin pwedeng pamukpok yung sinasabi nating screwdriver. Okay? So meron rin tayong tinatawag na, okay, so we need the tools to provide, we need also to know, okay, to consider the tools to provide power or precision. Okay? Then, select the tool with a correct handle, diameter, or grip span. So, kailangan alam din natin, ano bang kailangan natin? We need a power or precision. Pag sinabing power, kailangan ng lakas doon sa ating gagawin. Or pag sinabi natin precision, exactly kung ano yung gagawin natin. So, more or less pag precision, ito yung mga maliliit na mga bagay na kinakailangan hindi natin pwedeng gamitan ng lakas. Kasi pwedeng madurog o masira yung ginagawa natin. Okay? So, halimbawa, so for handheld tools, so ito yung mga ginagamit natin pag kinakailangan natin ng what we call power. Okay, nandyan yung what we call mga pliers natin, okay, mga screwdriver natin. Pero kung kinakailangan natin ng precision, ayan, mga maliliit lang na screwdriver yung ginagamit. Or hindi tayo pwedeng gumamit ng pliers, tulad sa mga computer parts o sa mga components sa motherboard. Hindi mo pwedeng ipang-ipit yung pliers doon kung may ihihinang tayo. So we need to use that tweezer. Okay, di ba? So precision. So kami kanya-kanyang tools tayong pwedeng gamitin. Then the next one is look at your workspace. Not only to know your job, but the second one is you need to know your workspace. So awkward posture may cause you to use more force. So, select a tool that can be used within the space available. So, kinakailangan alam mo, okay, kung ano yung space na, kung gaano ba kalaki yung space na pwede kang gumalaw. Maliit lang ba yan? Malaki ba yan? Maluwag ba yan? Mataas ba yan? Or nasa baba ba yan? Okay, for example, if you work in a cramped area and high force is required, select a tool that held with power grip. Okay, halimbawa, medyo maliit lang yung lugar na kung saan ka magagawa. Okay. So, pero tawag dito, limitado, pero kinakailangan mo ng pwersa. So, sabi, you need to use a tool with power grip. Pero, kung what we call, a pinch grip will produce much less power than power grip. Pero kung pinch grip ang gagamitin mo, hindi ka pwedeng what we call, kulang yung lakas doon. So, lalo kang mapapagod lang. So, pipili ka ngayon, halimbawa sa ganyang picture na yan, pinch grip and power grip. So, pag pinch grip, pag yung mga maiiksi lang, maliliit lang, so, hindi yan kinakailangan ng lakas talaga. Gagamitin mo yan. Pero kung kailangan mo ng lakas, you need to use tools that has a power grip. Okay. If you work in a cramped space, you may also not able to use a long handle tool. Okay? Instead, use a tools that fits the workspace. Ayun. So, kinakailangan tingnan mo rin yung place mo. Kasi kung minsan, pag mahahabang tools ang gagamitin mo, maaaring hindi magkasya. Okay? So, kinakailangan i-check mo kung anong klaseng tools ang pwede lang natin gamitin. Halimbawa ng ganyan. So, pag long-handled tool, mahirap yung kamay mo kasi talaga nakabaliko siya. Pero kung yung maiksi lang na mga short-handled tool lang ang gagamitin mo, yung maiksi ang mga hawakan, so medyo comfortable yung kamay mo at maiikot mo siya ng mabuti. Kaya nga marami ay yung ating mga screwdriver or other tools, may mga malalaki tayo, may mga mahaba, may mga maliliit. Kasi there are particular jobs that you need just the short-handled tool, pero may mga jobs naman talaga tayo niya, you need the long-handled tool. Okay, the next one is what we call to improve your work structure. Okay, sabi nga, awkward posture makes more demands on your body. So pag hindi ka masyadong comfortable sa pagtrabaho mo, when we say structure, yung body posture mo, yung katawan mo hindi comfortable sa posisyon, medyo mabilis ka mapagod o mabilis mawala yung lakas mo. So, whenever possible, choose a tool that requires at least continuous force and can be used without awkward posture. So, may ganon. So, magagamit ka ng mga tools na comfortably gagamitin doon sa job na ginagawa mo. So, halimbawa, sa ganyan, di ba? So, pag nakataas yung kamay mo, okay? So, medyo mahirap, masakit sa kilikili yan. So, ano yung kinakailangan mo? So, ibaba mo, tumayo ka. At para nasa baba yung iikot mo. Diba? So, you need to select what we call a tool for power that requires high force and tools used for precision or accuracy requires low force. Okay, so yun. So, pag tools na for power, it requires high force. Pero pag tools for precision or accuracy, it requires low force. Okay, now, so we need to prepare hand tools. So what are those tools na pwede nating gagamitin? Okay, some common tools. So those we are going to just round up some common tools na pwede nating gagamitin. So in computer application, the usage of proper hand tools and equipment is very, very essential. So a good troubleshooter must be knowledgeable in the tools and equipment. Ayan. So, ang hirap mag-troubleshoot ng isang problema kung hindi mo alam kung anong igagamitin mo para ayusin yon. So, you need to be knowledgeable enough, okay, in different functions of different tools. Okay, so magra-wrap up tayo ng tools na ito. Una-una, so ano yan? So, first is what we call the side cutter pliers. So, saan ba natin ginagamit ito? It is used for cutting or trimming of connecting wires or terminal leads in the circuit board. So, hindi po gunting o hindi po kinakagat yung mga sobra-sobrang mga wires natin. Okay, so we need to use a proper tools. Okay, a side cutter pliers. So, yan ang kanyang what we call ang kanyang papel. The next one, meron tayong tinatawag na long nose pliers. So, ito yung ginagamit natin to hold, bending, and stretching the lead of electronic components or connecting wires. Yan, long nose. So, pag kinakailangan natin ng power grip, okay, so, yan, long nose ang ginagamit natin. Okay, pero kung precision, mamaya, meron tayong ginagamit for precision. Okay, the next one, meron tayong tinatawag na crimping tools. Okay, everyone must have these tools, okay, especially if we are a computer technician or if we are planning to what we call to enhance our skills in networking. Okay, so yan, these tools is used, okay, so paano pag crimp ng mga RG45 o pag crimp ng iba't ibang dulo ng ginagamit natin sa networking. Okay, so yan, so crimping tool. So mura lang naman ito sa Lazada or in a Shopee. So, everyone must have this tool. The next one, ang tawag natin dito ay tweezer. So, hindi po ito tiyani, tweezer po ito. Ito naman yung ginagamit natin to hold some sensitive parts of our computer. So, if we need precision or accuracy, ito yung ginagamit natin para hindi madurog. Kasi kung gamitan natin ng long nose yun, patay tayo. Durog yung ating parts. Tweezer. Then, next, meron tayong tinatawag na cutter. Okay, what is the use of cutter? This cutter is tool used in cutting wires. So, pag nagpuputol tayo ng mga wires, okay, lalo na mga malalaking mga wires, mga matitigas na wires, okay, so we need to use cutter. Okay, hindi yan kaya ng gunting, hindi yan kaya ng kagat-kagat lang. We need to use cutter. Now, we need also to have what we call the flat screw driver. Para saan to? Okay, para to sa mga negative slotted screw. Okay, pag negative slotted screw, so ang ginagamit natin ay, okay, so flat screwdriver. Pero kung ito ay what we call yung other one, ng screw, okay, so we need to use Phillips screwdriver. Ito yung sa mga positive slotted screw. So there are also other kind of screw, lalong-lalo na sa mga laptops, some special slotted head na mga screw. So we can also buy those different tools, different tips of screwdriver, yung mga maliliit lang. So lalong-lalo na pagbubuksan natin ang laptop. So hindi po pwede itong mga ganitong mga malalaking screw. We need some precision screw, yon. So makakabili tayo ng gano'n, yung mga nakabox lang. So para doon sa mga maliliit na parts na ating bubuksan. Okay. The next one, meron rin tayong tinatawag na flashlight. Okay, para ilawan yung ginagawa natin. Usually, ang pinakamaganda, itong forehead, yung nilalagay dito sa noo. Okay, kasi kung dalawang kamay yung ginagamit mo, so saan mo ngayon gagamitin yung flashlight? Alangan naman na nasa bunganga. So pwede din kung mga 5 seconds mo lang kailangan, para kung matagal kang gumagawa. So nakakapangit naman tingnan. So we can use the other one, the flashlight that is being mounted in our forehead. Okay, para kung saan man tayo nakatingin, ay naiilawan yung ginagawa po natin. Lalong-lalo na pag medyo madilim, yung workplace na pinagtatrabahuan natin. Okay, we need also to use what we call the paint brush. So para saan naman to? Okay, so to clean some sensitive parts of the computer. So hindi mo pwedeng punasan ng basahan. So kinakailangan you can use paintbrush, or meron rin tayong tinatawag na other liquid para tinatawag nating panglinis maliban sa paintbrush. You can also use some liquid like WD-40, okay, for electronics, okay, mga fast dry, or mga connector, okay, connector cleaner, mga fast dry for electronics. So palagi yung titingnan sa label na kailangan nakalagay for electronics para hindi masira yung mga parts na pinag-i-sprayhan natin, electronics and fast dry. So dapat yun ang makikita po natin. Okay. The next one, so para saan naman kaya ito? The magnifying glass, okay? So kinakailangan natin ito to magnify or to increase the size, lalong-lalo na yung maliliit na parts ng mga board or ng mga components na ginagawa natin. Diba? So kung minsan hindi natin mabasa, hindi natin makita mabuti. So usually meron yung mga ginagamit talaga na tinapatong sa table na mga magnifying glass, okay, para mabasa natin or magkaroon tayo ng precise na paghinang or precise na pagkabit ng mga parts na kinakabit po natin. And the next one ay ito. So anong tawag natin dyan? They are the voltohms millimeter. Okay, so they are used to measure, okay, by technician for measuring current, voltage, and resistance. So we need also to know how to use this device para natin kung may kuryente ba o wala yung ginagawa natin, or kung minsan ay namimit ba ng system unit yung tamang kuryente na lumalabas sa power supply. Kasi kung kulang ng kuryente na lumalabas sa power supply, there is a possibility na magkakaroon ng malfunction in our system unit. So some parts of it will not function properly. So kinakailangan na precise, exact yung mga lumalabas na mga kuryente doon sa bawat cable na nanggagaling sa power supply. Okay? So meron rin tayong tinatawag na LAN tester. So ito kailangan rin yung pong bumili. Kinakailangan rin to as a technician sapagkat it is being used to test our network connection. So kung talagang successful ba yung pag-crimp mo o hindi, o baka may failure. So dito natin makikita. Okay? So madali nating matest yung cable natin kung working ba ito o hindi. Okay? Then the next one, a must-have is what we call the anti-static wrist wrap. Okay? If you don't want to damage the component you are working on, you need to use anti-static wrist wrap. Okay? So you need to discharge yung sinasabi natin, yung kuryente natin sa ating katawan through that, okay, tools. Okay, so bakit? Kasi mamaya, pag doon nyo na-discharge sa ating mga components na hinawakan sa computer, may malaking posibilidad na mababasted yun, masisira. Lalong-lalo na yung mga sensitive parts na nasa board or whatever parts na hinahawakan natin, mga electronic parts. There's a possibility na mababasted natin kung madi-discharge yung kuryente natin doon. So, we always use what we call the anti-static wrist wrap. Okay? And the next one is what we call the soldering pencil. So ito, papag-aralan din dapat natin na kung paano gumamit ang tamang paggamit ng what we call the soldering pencil. Okay? So saan ba dapat siya hawakan? Para saan ba talaga dapat siya gamitin? Okay? And the last one is what we call the desoldering tool. Okay? It is being used to, okay, unsolder unwanted parts or components in the circuit within the support of soldering pencil. Okay, so those are the tools, that usually common tools na dapat nating gagamitin. Okay? So that's all for today, and our next topic so will be how to properly care maintenance of those tools. That's all for today, guys, and God bless everyone.